Okay, 7:30. If everyone that hasn't taken their seat, please take your seat and we'll get started. Hopefully everyone online can hear me okay. All right, well, I'd like to welcome everyone back from a pretty darn good summer, a pretty darn hot summer, as a matter of fact. I remember in my younger days when it was news that Edmonton actually saw above plus 30 in a summer. And I think we probably had over a dozen of those this year. So, okay, we have a few housekeeping items to get through first, and then we will get on to our guest speaker. So our last meeting was June 10th, 2024, and the meeting minutes have been written and are available on the OneDrive. Do we have any errors or omissions for those minutes? All right, hearing none, I will pass the microphone over to Madam Secretary for a motion.
I move that the June 10, 2024 meeting minutes be approved as posted on the OneDrive.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder? Anyone? Murray Paulson seconds. Thank you. All right. If there's no further discussion, for all members, all in favor of the motion, please raise your hand. Any opposed? All right. Motion is carried. Thank you. Our second item, Treasurer's report. Maybe. Oh, there we go. And I will ask our Treasurer to come up. Jeff Wheaton.
Thanks, Jay. So it's been a bit of an active time for us from a financial standpoint. So in our general account, there's been an awful lot of activity as a result of the Northern Prairie Star Party. So of course we advance funds to the Northern Prairie Star Party in order to get campsites and that kind of thing. And as campsites get booked, funds flow back into us. So we saw we started with a balance of about 68,000 in at the end of July, and have finished out August at $72,000, and most of that money came from Northern Prairie fees. We also had about $1,000 come in membership dues, and our quarterly GST rebate came in, so that added to that balance. Now, the casino account had absolutely no activity, except for a whopping $80,000 credit from the 2024 casino. So as you know, we run these things about every 2 years. We run a casino. So we ran this year's casino in May, and those funds were distributed to our account this month or at the end of last month. One small expense, or one, not small expense, but one expense for just operations and maintenance out of the BNLO went through that account for $1,500. So we have a balance in there now of about I should put my glasses on. $140,000 or $134,000. Small change in the Bob Drew fund. So there was some of that $1,500 that I indicated was expended for operations and maintenance actually came out of the Bob Drew fund, which was a $25,000 donation set up by Bob some time ago, specifically for capital improvements to the Unit Drew telescope. I think that's it. Any questions?
All right. Thank you, Jeff. And just a quick note, I mentioned it in this month's Stardust as well, but the Centre does have an expenditure proposal program. So if you have an idea or for a project that would assist in the RASC Edmonton Centre delivering, astronomy programming, then you can utilize the expenditure proposal process for getting that project possibly funded by council. Okay, on to our guest speaker. I will ask Dr. Morrisink to please come up and introduce our speaker. Let's thank Krista again for a great talk. Thanks, Krista. All right. Here we go with some jiggery pokery, trying to get this shared off again. Shared.
You just need to share your screen because it's not being shared right now on the online version.
All right. I'll just figure that out in a minute, maybe. Oh, here we go. This guy. And let's share. Hope that's the one. Do I got it, Frank?
That's good.
All right. All right, moving right along. September. September is an interesting month in astronomy orbits. So this month in history, 178 years ago, September 23rd, 1846, Neptune was discovered by Johann Galle. 47 years ago, September 5th, many of us will remember that more so than the Neptune discovery. Voyager 1 was launched from Cape Canaveral, currently 24.4 billion kilometers from Earth, traveling at 61,198 kilometers an hour. 34 years ago, in September 1990, first light for the Hubble Space Telescope. And my favorite, near and dear to my heart, 165 years ago, peaking on September 1st and 2nd, was the most intense geomagnetic storm in recorded history. Everybody remember the name? It was the Carrington event. And I'm probably a bad person for wanting another one, but just imagine the aurora. Or you could go to the Yukon, promised right there by Krista. Okay, and I think just before I go into the astronomical trivia, we have a couple of announcements for some folks. So I'd like to ask Jeff Robertson first to come up, please.
Thanks, Jay. First off, although I did send an email to all the participants, I want to once again thank everyone who came out to Elk Island last Monday for a fantastic day. The Parks Canada people reported there were over 5,000 visitors coming through the gates that day. Got a few things coming up. The Lakeland Dark Sky Preserve is having a celebration this Saturday out near Lac La Biche. So far, we've only had one person step forward to go out there. We will pay mileage, we'll pay your hotel, we'll pay your meals. I'd like to have at least one other person go out there. If someone could contact me tomorrow or Wednesday at the very, very latest, that would be great. This Saturday is International Observe the Moon Day. Hopefully the weather will be good. We'll be open at the observatory to look at a waxing gibbous moon. Fortunately, it's not first quarter. That's on Wednesday. And as already been put out, I believe the Gateway to the Stars program is running at Elk Island. Some of you have already stepped up. The notices are on the volunteer portal. And I think that's it.
All right, thank you, Jeff. Also, I think Rick or Susan Brahm wanted to also come up. Talk a little bit about NPSP.
Just a quick note, we'll have more of a report with pictures next month because most of us are just coming off having been out at Black Nut Lake for 5 days, which ended with the Northern Prairie Star Party on Sunday morning. Just a couple of notes. First of all, we set a couple of records. We had the largest attendance we've ever had with 90 people showing up over the 5 days, which was fantastic. We also had the highest temperatures we've ever had, 30 degrees in the tent on Friday and Saturday afternoons. So that was also a record we may not want to break again. I also wanted to mention two things, and I'm representing our whole organizing and coordinating team of 6 of us, myself and Rick, Carol and Dave Mussel, and Marion and Alan Hobbs, that we will give a better report, a report with photos next month. Any of you who did attend and didn't hand in your observing list yet, there's still a little chance to sneak in tonight if you've got it with you, or you can email it to us. And also, I'm sending in a second order for the t-shirts. So if anybody's interested, modeling here, please see me at the break, and I have my list, and we can talk about you getting a t-shirt if you're interested. And thanks to everyone who attended and all the support and all the volunteers. We'll have more details next month.
Really good event again. Okay, one more announcement and we'll get into astronomical trivia and our break. Chris.
Thank you. I'm surprised that Solar Max didn't know how long it would take before the eclipse disappeared total. I looked it up for you. It's from 600 million to 1 billion years, so you've got time to, I just wanted to talk for a second about Jasper Dark Sky, and unfortunately, it probably will not happen this year. And that's not an absolute, but it is probable. The problem is they don't have funding. Jasper Tourism gets its funding from tourists, of course, and you know what's happened to the tourists this year. They're still trying to get funding from other sources, but it takes a bit longer, and the Jasper Dark Sky normally takes place in about mid-October. So for now, they asked us to put it on hold. They said, clear your dates off, but keep in touch. It may still happen. So unfortunately, that will be the case for Jasper Dark Sky this year. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Chris. All right. So I'm going to pop up the astronomical trivia and then we'll do a quick break. So some of us paid attention during the NPSP presentations. And so I have our question is near and dear to the heart and mind of our guest speaker today. So regarding in planetary formation theories, what is the frost line or the snow line? And what role does it play in planetary formation? And where is it in our solar system? That's our trivia. All right, let's take a 10-minute break. And we'll come back about 5 to 9. All right, thanks. All right. Welcome to the second half. We'll kick off the second half here with our librarian. I think I saw Mark somewhere. There he is. I'll ask Mark Zelchik to come up and present our book of the month. And then I'll click.
Good evening.
Hopefully it's the right one.
Yep. Greetings from Berta Beltran and I, co-librarians of the Edmonton RASC Library. What do Young and the Restless, IKEA, and our library all have in common? We all have Billy. Billy is a crater on the moon, 45 kilometers in diameter. Billy is also a line of shelves from IKEA, about 210 millimeters in diameter. And Billy from Young and the Restless, well, I know nothing about that at all. Nothing. Thanks to council, we were able to acquire 2 banks of the Billy shelves for the library to accommodate more books. And a couple of weeks ago, Berta and Al Pankratz and I, with some help from Frank Floyan, set up the shelves in the library. Thanks also to Murray Paulson, Martin Satchwell, and Barry Delano, who offered to help. So we are slowly incorporating more books into those shelves right now. As for the book of the month for this month, it's Observer's Sky Atlas by Eric Karkoshka. For over 30 years, the Observer's Sky Atlas has been an indispensable guide for anyone using binoculars or a small telescope to search the sky. Each deep sky object discussed has a star chart, a finder's chart, and description, catalog data, an image for visual observations, and a photo, all on the same double-page spread. In addition, this new edition contains predictions for the separation of binaries all the way up to 2060, and a new section that includes images and charts for observing the Milky Way. The detailed colored charts for daytime use change into charts for nighttime use when the pages are illuminated with red light. Beginners as well as seasoned observers will find everything they need for quick orientation and endless exciting hours of observation. So a very unique atlas, and we have it right now at the library. First come, first lend out at the conclusion of the meeting. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. All right. Next segment is very own Abdur Anwar and the Astro-Imaging Corner. Abdur out there, virtual land.
Hi, Jay. Thank you. There we go. Okay, can everyone hear me all right? Perfect. Thank you very much. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen and then we can get started. Okay, there we go. Welcome to Astro-Imaging Corner number 138. So it's been a little while since we had our last one. So I'm excited to present some of the images that were sent in by our members. The first image here is sent by Dave Mussel, and this is the Eastern Veil Nebula, taken using an Explore Scientific 127 ED telescope with a QHY 268M camera and Antlia 3 nanometer H-alpha filter, and this shows a lot of the fine structure in the veil that's often not visible in color images. And I believe Dave took this at the Northern Prairie Star Party just recently while we were there, and that's just an absolutely beautiful image with some phenomenal structure. So great job there, Dave. Up next, we have an image from Murray Paulson, and this is a shot of Saturn. This was taken this summer with an AP130 and a 3x Barlow using an ASI 290 color camera. And this was a stack of about 10,000 images. And you can see that the rings are almost edge on now, unlike a few years ago where they looked much wider because they were kind of at a larger angle to us. So very nice shot. And you can see one of those equatorial belts at the top as well. So thank you for that, Murray. Up next is another shot from Murray Paulson, and this is Jones Emberson 1. And this was taken with an AP130 f6, and this is a stack of 100 exposures of 30 seconds each, so a total of about 50 minutes of exposures at ISO 5000 with the Canon R6 Mark II. And yeah, beautiful shot. That's a very nice looking little nebula. And another shot from Murray Paulson of the Andromeda Galaxy. And this was shot with a wide field William Optics GT71 at f5.9. And this is a stack of 285 exposures of 30 seconds each. And that's a total of 2 hours and 20 minutes at ISO 3600. And again, this was also with the Canon R6 Mark II. So very, very nice shots, showing some of those dust lanes and the two satellite galaxies as well. Our next shot is from Stephen Portillo, and this is a shot of the NLC from Sherwood Park, Alberta. And this was taken on June 15, 2024 with a Google Pixel 8 Pro and using the HDR Plus option. So very nice structure there. Our next shot is from Daniel Tomsedge, and this is Daniel's first submission to Astro-Imaging Corner, so great job for that. This is the Wizard Nebula, also known as NGC 7380 or 7830, and this is a young open cluster of stars in the northern circumpolar constellation of Cepheus, and this was discovered by Caroline Herschel in 1787. And the surrounding emission nebulosity is known colloquially as the Wizard Nebula, and it spans about 25 arc minutes, so it's fairly large. And a 0.6x reducer was used to bring down the 4-inch APO to f4, which helped gather data over multiple sessions. And over 32 hours of subs were stacked to generate this particular image. And the data was taken over 8 nights in June and July 2024. And the classic SHO palette lends well to the strong O3 signal, which results in the strong blues. And this was actually taken from the Bortle 9 skies of Edmonton University campus. And again, with a 4-inch A-port refractor and an ASI 533 MC Pro camera. And processing was done in PixInsight. So yeah, great shot there. And I hope to see some more images from you, Daniel. Thank you for sending that one in. Our next shot is one of mine from when I was testing the ASI C-Star S50, and this is a total of 1 hour and 15 minutes of exposures with the nebula filter on and using 10-second individual exposures, and this was processed, I believe, in Serial. Up next, this is one of my other shots that I had taken earlier this summer, and this was with a 60mm f5 refractor and an ASI 2600 MC dual camera. And this is from when I was testing the IDAS NBZ2 filter, and I think it did an excellent job considering this was taken from my backyard in Cochrane, which is a Bortle 7 zone. And this was a total of 6.5 hours of exposures. And at the bottom, you can see the North America Nebula, including the Gulf of Mexico. And at the top, you can see the Pelican Nebula, which has a distinctive pelican-like shape. And my next image is a project I'd been working on for about a decade now with whatever equipment I had available at the time. And I'm happy to say that finally, after having spent hundreds of hours gathering data on this region of the sky over a long period of time at the Northern Prairie Star Party 2024, I was finally able to achieve my goal. So now I can stop chasing gravitational lensing. And this is a cluster called ABEL 2218. This is a cluster that the Hubble Space Telescope had imaged, I think around the mid 1990s or late 1990s. And it saw a lot of these gravitational arcs around this galaxy cluster, which were caused by the bending of space-time due to the mass of that galaxy cluster in the foreground. And the foreground galaxy cluster, I believe it's about 2.1 billion light years away. And the arcs that we are seeing are background galaxies that are being lensed. I can't quite recall how far away the background galaxies are, but I would estimate between 5 and 8 billion light years away. So on the left, you can see the image from the Hubble Space Telescope, and on the right, you can see the image from me, from my C11, from the Northern Prairie Star Party. And this is a quick, rough process, so it's only in black and white right now. But I've labeled some of those, I've labeled the 3 brightest arcs with arrows. So on the very left, you can see this arc underneath the 2 lensed galaxies. Near the very center of the image, you can see this one arc, which I think it might be the brightest one overall. And on the right, you can see the brighter section of one of the third arcs there. So I look forward to producing a color image of this region soon, but I'm pretty happy that I could actually capture those arcs because I think very few amateurs have tried to image this galaxy cluster and the gravitational lensing. And then this is a more zoomed in view. And this is a crop from the much larger image that I'm working on. And that's it. So yeah, we didn't have too many images this time because I think everyone is still recovering from the Northern Prairie Star Party, and I am hoping to get a lot more in next time. But thank you to everyone who sent in some images, and I look forward to seeing more of everyone's work next time. Back to you, Jay.
All right. Looking forward to the book there, Abdur, Backyard Gravitational Lensing. But really, congratulations. That is quite the accomplishment, actually. So,
Thanks, Jay.
all right. Am I sharing, Frank? So close so far. Oh. And while we wait here, I was just going to ask Mark. So was it me? I did not see a lot of NLC observations this year. Is there a distinct lack of NLC this year? Saturating something. Strange. All right. One other item just before I do move on. If you're interested in getting into astrophotography, the club did just purchase one of those new C-Star telescopes. And so for any of the members that would like to maybe dabble in astro-imaging, you can now go to the loaner program on our website and book the C-Star and start getting your feet wet in astro-imaging. Okay, well, we're near the end here. If I'd quit talking, so I'm just going to bring up our astronomical trivia. So again, this is based on what is the frost line and what role does it play in planetary formation. So does anybody know what the frost line is, aside from our guest speaker? Oh, please. All right, well, that's not working. So we'll just jump right there to the answer. So the frost line is where temperatures are low enough for volatile compounds like water, ammonia, and methane to condense into solid ice grains. Inside the line, temperatures are too high for these ices to form. So rocky and metal-rich planets form predominantly from materials like silicates and metals. So composition, the frost line also contributes to the size of the planet. So beyond the frost line, the availability of ices contributes to the formation of larger protoplanets and gas giants, as the additional mass from ices allow these bodies to accumulate significant amounts of gas from the surrounding protoplanetary disk. And it also contributes obviously to the location. The frost line is typically located at a distance of about 5 astronomical units. Is that correct, Carissa? Okay, in our solar system from the central star, but can vary depending on the star's luminosity and the properties of the protoplanetary disk. And so in our solar system, this means it's roughly between the orbits of Mars and Jupiter. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Anyways, I had never heard of that until Krista's talk at NPSP this year. Yep, pretty much right around the Astro Belt. Yep. Okay. I believe that's it. So do we have anyone else? Any other announcements? All right. Well, I would like to thank everyone for attending our first meeting back from the summer break, and hope everyone has a good night, and we will see you again in October. Thanks, everybody. I call the meeting closed.